paraphernalia, failed to register, pass, obstruction, disorderly conduct, criminal trespass. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to be appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you have counsel seated next to you for purposes of today. We're going to be talking about the felony matters first, and then we'll talk about the Tucson City Court stuff. I'm setting some release conditions for you, Mr. Olson. I review the interim complaints for the felony matters and the pretrial services report. Looks like the state is recommending steps for the drug charges and $5,000 on the other felony charges. Mr. Poston, is that still accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything further, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Poston. Ms. Palacios?
I just want to highlight, Your Honor, that this was a non-violent felony. Nobody was hurt in this matter. And submit on the court's recommendation.
Sir, if I release you today, do you have somewhere you can go?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Where would you go?
I would go to the Benson, so I would have to go back to my baby mama's house, right at Benson. And we are moving today to a new location. She was putting, it was like 904. We're buying a trailer.
Okay, is that in Pima County?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
All right, sir. I'm going to release you today to pretrial services. Conditions include no drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial. Go to the nearest sheriff's department to get your new ID. You have to make sure you register and get an ID. Okay?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, does he have a probation hold out of Maricopa County?
It's not a hold. He has a violation warrant, but hasn't been served.
It has been served, Your Honor.
It has been served?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I'm not
If
seeing
he-
you on that today, so. You on that today, sir. Looks like you have a Maricopa County Superior Court warrant, but the jail website doesn't show that. The jail says it's been served on you, sir, but I'm not seeing you on that today. So you'll have to deal with that one separately. Your next court date for the felony matter is going to be March 24th for a preliminary hearing at 1:30 p.m. And then regarding the steps, Ms. Palacios, could you ask Mr. Olson if he's okay with waiving time for that?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor. He is
Thank you.
good waiving time.
All right, thank you. So Mr. Olson, the STEPS is a drug substance abuse diversion program, pre-indictment diversion program that provide resources and classes and substance abuse counseling and such. Would you be interested in participating in that program?
Yes, of course.
All
Yes.
right. So the state will do a screening, and the next court date for the STEPS to see if you qualify for it will be March 10th at 9 a.m. at the Pima County Superior Courthouse. And then the preliminary hearing date was pushed out to 4/17. Defendant waives time.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, is he being released to pretrial services?
Yes, for the felony matters, yes.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, no drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial. Okay. All right. And then for your city court stuff, sir, I'm going to release you on your own promise to appear for your next court date.
Yes, ma'am.
And then that next court date is going, and then the only condition for that is do not go to the incident location, no contact with the victim, because there's a from trespass on that. All right. Your next court date for the Tucson City Court matters is going to be April 3rd. At 2 p.m. All right. And then this is also the time set for your arraignment on the Tucson City Court matter, sir. You're presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You're ordered to appear for that April 3rd hearing as well as any future court dates. If you fail to appear, warrant can issue. Trial can go in your absence. If you're convicted at a trial in your absence and unable to be sentenced within 90 days because you're on warrant status, you may lose your right for a direct appeal. So it's in your best interest to make sure you get all this taken care of. Understand all that, sir?
Yes, sir.
And then
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
thank you. And then like they said, the jail said apparently there's a Maricopa County warrant that they served on you. I'm not seeing you on that today, but on these ones, you'll be released to pretrial. Okay. You're excused for today, sir.
Well,
You should be yes on these matters unless they're.
All right, and for the next matter, counsel, I believe Mr. Glover has filed a notice of appearance. So that's Jairo Pacheco Padillo. So Ms. Palacios, you won't have to be one.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Check the audio.
Is it middle name Marl?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And you also have your attorney, Mr. Glover, on the line.
Here.
All right, so this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on a out-of-county warrant from Santa Cruz for aggravated DUI, 2 counts. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney, and you in fact have. So Mr. Glover is here for you, sir. Mr. Glover, do you want to be heard?
I do, Your Honor. Your Honor, a couple of things I can tell the court. Your Honor, Mr. Padillo did not receive any notice of his court dates in Santa Cruz. I can assure the court of that because Mr. Padillo resides with me in Moreno. He is my stepson. We did not have notice of a court date at all. I would just ask that he be released, and I can assure the court he will make any future court dates, and we will take care of this matter.
All right, the state was recommending a bond of 10,000. Mr. Did you want to be heard further?
Your Honor, that was strictly the amount put on the Santa Cruz County warrant.
I think I see it to be 1,000, but not 10,000, but noted, sir.
Perhaps I have a typo. I apologize.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I would just ask to be released OR, and we will appear at court in Santa Cruz.
Your Honor, if the court's inclined to release, I'd ask it be released to pretrial services.
We cannot do that because it's an out-of-county warrant, so we don't have jurisdiction over pretrial for.
Fair enough.
I can assure the state that he will appear at those court hearings, Your Honor. He will be residing with me. I will take him home and he'll be with me.
Yes, I did that. So Mr. Pacheco Padillo, you heard what everyone had to say. I am going to release you today, OR, on your own recognizance. Your paperwork will have the Superior Court, Santa Cruz Superior Court's phone number on it. You'll have to call or have your attorney call to get the next court date, sir. So you have to get that taken care of, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you, Mr. Glover.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, is the interpreter ready for our Spanish speaking client?
Mr. Davis, are you there? Oh, okay. I think they were asking for the end of the calendar, so I don't think he's there right now.
Thank you.
Morning, can I get your name, please?
James Thomas Rose Aguilar.
Mr. Aguilar, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on some felony charges. There's post indictment for possession of dangerous drugs, possession of narcotic drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia, as well as some new felony charges for possession of narcotic drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. And I neglected to tell you also have some Tucson city court matters. We'll be dealing with the felonies first, sir, and then we'll talk about your city court things. Got to set some release conditions for you, Mr. Aguilar. I've reviewed the pretrial services report, as well as the interim complaints. It looks like this, the state is saying steps.
It's two, Your Honor.
Okay, so the post indictment matter would not be steps, but for the new one you're saying is eligible for steps?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Poston?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Palacios?
Can you give me just a brief second, Your Honor?
Yes, of course.
Your Honor, I would highlight that this is a nonviolent offense. I spoke with Mr. Aguilar, and it sounds like he does have a friend's residence that he can go to if he is released. And he knows that he needs to appear at future court dates. And he is definitely interested in being enrolled in the STEPS program for the pre-indictment matter. So we're asking for him to be released to pretrial services today.
Thank you. I am concerned about the numerous failures to appear on the post-indictment matter, as well as the failures to appear, just generally speaking, with Mr. Aguilar's history. So I'm going to impose a bond on the post-indictment matter of $500, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol. No firearms, monitoring and treatment as directed by pretrial. If I haven't said so already, the Public Defender's Office is appointed. And then the steps hearing, so you would be interested in the pre-indictment diversion program for drug treatment?
Yeah.
So one of them is already post-indictment, so you're not eligible for that one, but you may be eligible for the new charge that you just got, and there'll be a screening for that. So the next court date for that is March 10th at 9 a.m., and then you'll find out if you actually qualify or not after they do the screening. The preliminary hearing date will remain the same because I'm holding you on a bond of 500. That's March 13th. And then the post-indictment matter, sir, also $500, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted, same conditions. Your next court date for that is also March 10th. That's going to be for a criminal arraignment. Okay. For your Tucson City Court matter, sir, these are all for failures to appear for parks closed after hours, criminal trespass, liquor consumption in public, criminal trespass, multiple counts, interfering with judicial proceedings, prescription drugs, drug paraphernalia, criminal damage, drug paraphernalia, theft, shoplifting, additional drug paraphernalia. For those, looks like you already had an attorney in that matter. That was Greenwich Law, so I'm pointing them again. Because of the numerous failures to appear, I'm going to issue a bond in that matter as well, $500, cash or secured. No drugs, no alcohol if posted. No contact with any of the victims. Do not go to any of the incident locations. Your next court date for the Tucson City Court matter is March 11th at 1:45 p.m. in front of Judge Moreno, Tucson City Court. If you're still in custody, you'll be seen via video by the jail. If you fail to appear for your court date, sir, as you can see, warrants will issue for your arrest. So it's in your best interest to get this all taken care of. Understand all that, sir?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. You're excused for today. Good morning. Can I get your name, please?
Anito C. Alcantar the third.
What does the C stand for?
It's just a regular C. My mom and dad never get a name.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Alcantar, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on a post-indictment matter from Pima County Superior Court for possession of dangerous drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia, new felony charges of possession of dangerous drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia, a failure to appear from Pima County Justice Court, 2 counts of shoplifting. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you cannot afford one may be appointed for you. We talked about the felony matters first, sir, and then we'll go on to the justice court cases. I've reviewed the pretrial services report, the interim complaint. The state is recommending $2,500. Mr. Poston, anything further to add?
Judge, looks like, as you said, we've got 2 drug cases.
That's correct. One is pre-indictment, one is post-indictment.
The state's gonna go ahead and amend from 2,500 plus 2,500 consecutive to 2,500 current. We've got a 6 out of 6 here, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Palacios?
I would again highlight the offense and that Mr. Alcantar does have a residence here in Tucson. And since he is steps eligible, just a nominal bond, Your Honor.
Mr. Poston, just to clarify, is the state saying that Mr. Alcantar steps eligible for the pre-indictment matter in this case?
Here so.
All right. Mr. Alcantar,
Yes.
Alcantar, you have 2 felony matters. One is post-indictment, one is pre-indictment. For pre-indictment, the state is saying you may be eligible for a pre-indictment drug diversion program with substance abuse counseling and treatment and classes. Would you be interested in potentially participating in that?
Yes, Your Honor, I would because I do need help.
Okay.
I really do.
All right. Like
do
I
need
said,
help.
you would be. We don't know if you would be eligible for it, but they would be screened. You would be screened to see if you'd be eligible for it. Okay. So for both matters, for pre-indictment and post-indictment, I'm going to issue a bond of $500, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial. For the pre-indictment matter, you're going to have a steps hearing, sir, March 10th at 9 a.m. That's when you'll find out if you actually are eligible for that. So if you're in custody, the jail will make sure you get seen. If you post bond, you have to make sure you show up that date so you find out if you're eligible for that pre-indictment diversion program. That's at the Pima County Superior Court. And then the preliminary hearing will be March 13th at 1:30 p.m. And then for the post-indictment matter, sir, you have an arraignment on March 10th at 1:30 p.m. So both are going to be at the Pima County Superior Court on March 10th at 1:30 p.m. It's also ordered quashing the warrant issued on the felony post-indictment matter. Same conditions. And then for your misdemeanor, sir, for the shoplifting, I'm going to release you on your own promise to appear for your next court date for those. The next court date's going to be March 13th at 8:30 a.m. Conditions include no contact with the alleged victims, do not return to the incident location. If you fail to appear for any of these court dates, sir, as you can see, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go without you. So it's in your best interest to make sure you show up to court and keep in contact with any attorneys you may have. You understand all that, sir?
Yes, but I would like to know, like, am I gonna get released or whatnot? Cause I don't know what's going on about that. Cause I'm really trying to make it.
$500 bond for the felony cases. And then on the justice court, you're released on your own recognizance.
Who did you appoint, Your Honor, for counsel?
The public defender's office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Released.
She says $500. So go ahead and take this.
Right, thank you.
Corrales? Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm running noise.
Good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Jesus Galeno Corrales, good morning, yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Corrales. So I'm seeing you today on several matters. Looks like new felony charges for possession of dangerous drugs and possession of drug paraphernalia. Also have Pima County Justice Court shoplifting.
I didn't know about the shoplifting.
Hold on. And then I'm also seeing you on a warrant out of South Mountain Justice Court out of Maricopa County for that one's also a shoplifting as well. All right, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you cannot afford one may be appointed for you. All right, for the felony matter locally in Pima County, I'm appointing the public defender's office, and you have counsel seated next to you for purposes of today. Looks like you may have a probation violation warrant out of Maricopa County Superior Court, but I'm not seeing you on that today.
That, I thought, I got out of prison and, I went, they paged me, I went to Maricopa. It was at a Diamondback baseball game with some sodas and nachos. And,
Sorry, Your Honor.
That's all right, Palacios. So I'm going to be setting some of these conditions for you for all of these. We'll start with the new felony matters first. State's recommending $5,000. Mr. Poston, anything further to add?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Palacios.
Your Honor, this was a nonviolent offense, and Mr. Corrales is employed full-time as a consultant, and he is a lifelong Tucson resident and has housing.
I don't flee. I'll go for it.
He knows that he needs to appear. He only has a level 3 for the failure to appear scale. So we're asking if you do hold him on a bond, that it be a nominal one, please.
Please. I have 3 kids and it's hard.
All right, hold on, Mr. Corrales. All right, I do see that the Maricopa probation violation warrant was issued February of last year, so I am concerned about failures to appear. So for the new felony matter, I'm going to impose a bond of $1,000, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms. Monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial. No contact with the alleged victim. Do not go to the incident location. Your next court date, sir, is going to be March 13th at 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not go, so just keep in contact with the public defender. If you fail to appear for any court dates, the warrant can issue for your arrest. And then we also have the Pima County Justice Court cases. For those, I am going to release you on your own promise to appear for your next court date. If you're still in jail by then the jail will make sure you get seen. The next court date for the Justice Court will be March 13th at 8:30 a.m. Conditions include no contact with the alleged victims, don't go to the incident locations of the shopliftings. All right, and then the last one, sir, is a South Mountain Justice Court case out of Maricopa County. On that one, the bond amount originally was 500. So I'm just gonna honor that bond because that judge is the one that issued it. And that's gonna be cash or secured.
Okay, so then I have two bonds.
And the next court date for the South Mountain Justice Court will be March 14th at 1 p.m.
What's
Right.
14th?
All right, you're ordered to appear for all future court dates, sir. Again, if you fail to appear, warrant can issue. And I don't know if you've been served already with the Maricopa County warrant, but if you're released before, make sure you get that taken care of.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Excuse for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Yes, you do, ma'am.
Is your middle name Daniel?
Yes, ma'am.
Morning, sir. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I am seeing you on some felony charges for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which are felonies. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm setting some release conditions for you today, sir. I've reviewed the pretrial services report, the interim complaint. The state is recommending $50,000. Mr. Poston, anything further to add?
Your Honor, just looking at the narrative in this one, and I'm not going to belabor it and put it over the public airwaves, this is a very serious one. There is a DV incident between the defendant and there's also a vehicle condition, and the defendant decided to introduce a handgun and threaten two people after one of them reported it.
I never did
This
this.
person, he's an NVCAS, he's a 3 out of 3, and it looks like he's got a case pending out of Michigan, so the state believes he's a flight.
Thank you, Mr. Poston. Ms. Palacios?
Give me just a second, Your Honor. Your Honor, after speaking with Mr. Doe, he is currently unemployed and on Social Security, but he does live here in Tucson and he is able to go home to his dad's house if the court so lets him. Also, he's only a 3 out of 3 on the failure to appear new criminal activity, and just reminding the court that what's alleged is still allegations at this point. So we would ask for $1,000 bond.
All right, so Mr. Doe, your dad is the listed victim in this case, so you cannot go back to his house, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm concerned about the nature of allegations of this offense, as well as the fact, sir, that you have a case pending out of Michigan for similar offense. So I am going to order a bond here of $25,000, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms, monitoring treatment is directed by pretrial, no contact with your dad at this time, okay? He's the named victim in the case. And do not
Okay.
go to the incident location. If I haven't said so already, the Public Defender's Office is appointed, sir. You cannot leave Pima County without further order of the court.
Okay.
All right, your next court date, Mr. Doe, will be March 13th at 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing. That may or not go, so may or may not go, so just keep in contact with the public defender about that. If you fail to appear for any future court dates, a warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your excuse for today, Mr. Doe.
Take this.
Forgive me, Your Honor, how much was the bond there?
25,000.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Corey,
Your full name, please?
Corey Harper.
Is the middle name Dylan?
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Harper. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on felony charges of aggravated assault, deadly weapon, aggravated assault, serious physical injury, which are felonies. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you cannot afford one may be appointed for you. And I am appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office at this time. I'm going to be setting some release conditions for you, Mr. Harper. I've reviewed the pretrial services report, the interim complaint. Looks like the state is recommending a no bond due to dangerousness. Mr. Poston?
That is correct. State is requesting a no bond hearing pursuant to the case ruling in Simpson v. Owen, based on the future dangerousness that we believe Mr. Harper poses to the victim. Briefly, there is an incident and the victim suffered multiple lacerations on his face and torso, broken facial bones, brain bleed, and a pneumothorax. The alleged victim is in ICU. We're not even sure if the person's going to survive. And apparently there is allegedly an excited utterance, something to the effect that I should have just killed him. Therefore, Your Honor, state requests the no bond hearing.
All right, thank you. Ms. Palacios?
Your Honor, Mr. Harper has no prior felony convictions. This is his first felony charge. He's also only a level 2 for the future criminal activity and a failure to appear. If you think a bond is necessary, I would ask for, $2,500. I don't think a no bond is appropriate in this case.
Ms. Palacios, would you agree that the state is entitled to request a no bond hearing for due to dangerousness?
Yes, Your Honor. Again, I just don't think that that is necessary given the other factors in Mr. Harper's case.
All right, sir. So Mr. Harper, the state is requesting a no bond hearing. They are entitled to destitution for certain instances. So they would have to do an evidentiary hearing basically. So that's going to be scheduled on March 7th, which is this Friday at 2:30 p.m. at the Pima County Superior Court. You'll get transported for that. At that point, the state will decide if they want to go forward. If they do, they'll have evidence and an officer testify, et cetera. All right, and then at that point, you'll find out from the judge if you actually get held without bond due to dangerous allegation, or if they'll issue a bond at that point. Okay,
What time on Friday, Your Honor?
it's at 2:30 p.m. I believe it's Division
Thank
V,
you.
but maybe LF, but either will be on the 3rd floor. Okay. All right, and then after that, sir, your preliminary hearing is going to be March 13th at 1:30 p.m. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates. If you fail to appear, warrant may issue for your arrest. You understand all that, sir?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Your excuse for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Morning. Can I get your name, please?
Robert Inigo.
Is it Vincent Jr.?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Inigo, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on felony charges of aggravated shoplifting and possession of narcotic drugs. Also a Tucson City Court failure to appear for criminal trespass. We'll talk about the felonies first and then the city court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you have counsel seated next to you for purposes of today. We're going to be talking about release conditions, sir. Looks like the state is recommending $25,000. Is that accurate, Mr. Poston?
It is, Your Honor.
Anything else you want to be heard further on?
Your Honor, what we have here is he's a 6 out of 6. He's a yes for a violent crime, as well as history of failure to appear. And let me check if I'm missing anything else here. He has, he's got a very strong history of shoplifting. And it's based on this, it looks like he is going to be looking at potential prison time. And all things considered, the state believes 25,000 is accurate and appropriate.
All right, thank you. Ms. Palacios?
Your Honor, this is a non-violent offense and Mr. Indigo is a lifelong resident of Tucson. I think a nominal bond in this case is appropriate. And then also verification that he is not SEPS eligible.
There's a shoplifting charge along with it, so I don't believe he would be steps eligible.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Your Honor, I'm also looking at 8 priors: drugs, shoplifting, ag assault, misconduct involving weapons, ag assault. He's got a very long criminal history, including some fairly violent charges. Thank you.
You. So I'm concerned about the failure to appear, even though these are nonviolent charges, so I'm going to impose a bond of $2,000, cash or secured, released to pretrial, posted. No drugs, no alcohol, monitoring treatment, directed by pretrial, no firearms, of course. No contact with the alleged victim. Do not return to Walmart, which is the incident location. Your next court date, sir, for the felony matters is March 13th at 1:30 p.m. for preliminary hearing. That date may or may not go, so just keep in contact with the public defender. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates. If you don't appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. All right, and then for the Tucson City Court matter, sir, the judge that issued the warrant in that matter ordered the bond at $250. So I'm going to just honor that bond from Tucson City Court Judge. $250 cash or secured. If you do post it, no drugs, no alcohol, no contact with the alleged victim of the trespass. Do not go to the incident location. Appointing the Tucson City Public Defender's Office to represent you on the Tucson City Court matters. Your next court date for Tucson City is going to be March 11th at 1:45 p.m. If you're still in custody, sir, you'll be seen by video. The jail will make sure you get seen. If you post bond before then, it's up to you to make sure you show up to court. If you fail to appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all that, sir?
Yes, ma'am. What's the charges?
For Tucson City Court,
No, for the felony.
aggravated shoplifting and possession of dangerous drugs. Or narcotic drugs, excuse me. Possession of narcotic drugs and aggravated shoplifting.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Good morning, Lynch.
Morning, Mr. Lynch. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on a felony charge of domestic violence, aggravated assault, impeding breathing. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you have counsel seated next to you for purposes of today. I'm going to be setting some release conditions for you, sir. I've reviewed the interim complaint, the pretrial services report. The state is recommending $25,000. Mr. Poston, do you want to be heard further?
Your Honor, this case involves strangulation. The state need not remind the court of the high lethality associated with DV strangulation, and it's also often seen as a precursor, increasing homicide by 800%. The defendant grabbed the victim and strangled her for 5 to 15 seconds. She is his fiancée. She had to go to the ER for imaging and labs, and she was also bruised. Based on the extremely concerning nature of this, Your Honor, state requests $25,000.
Thank you, Mr. Poston. Ms. Palacios?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to highlight that Mr. Lynch has no criminal history, no prior misdemeanor or felony convictions. He is also only a level 1 on failure to peers and future criminal activity. He lives here in Tucson. He's been here for many years. He's employed full-time as a locomotive engineer, and both of those have been verified by his fiance. His fiance also does not object to future contact and in fact wants future contact. I think releasing Mr. Lynch to pretrial services is appropriate in this case and just ordering no contact between him and the alleged victim.
So I'm going to impose a bond of $25,000 in this case due to the allegations of the offense. Cash or secured release to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms. Monitoring treatment is directed by pretrial. I understand that the victim is wanting contact, but at this time, I'm ordering no contact with her at this time. That can change in the future, but right now, no contact with her. Do not go to her residence or her work. Your next court date, Mr. Lynch, is going to be March 13th at 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not go, so keep in contact with the public defender to make sure about your court dates. If you fail to appear for that court date or any future court dates, a warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all that, Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir. Your excuse for today. Morning, ma'am. Can I get your name, please?
Sandra Narcis Mendoza.
Morning, Ms. Mendoza. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on felony charges for aggravated DUI. I'm also seeing you on a failure to appear out of Tucson City Court for a theft. There's a misdemeanor. We'll talk about the DUI first, and then we'll go to the city court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. And you also have counsel seated next to you for purposes of today. I'm going to be setting some release conditions for you, Ms. Mendoza, on the felony matter. I've reviewed the interim complaint and the pretrial services report. Mr. Poston, the state is recommending $15,000, looks like. Anything further to add, sir?
Your Honor, this is her fourth DUI, and she's a 5 and 4. It's the state's concerned that if she continues unchecked, she's going to end up killing somebody.
All right, thank you. Ms. Palacios?
Your Honor, Miss Mendoza has an address here in Tucson, and Dad has verified her housing with him and has also agreed to take Miss Mendoza to and from any sort of future court hearings and transport her. There is no allegations of anybody losing their life, and I don't even know if there was a collision or anyone was hurt in this case. It is a DUI charge, and again, with the failure to appear concerns, Dad has verified that he can take Ms. Mendoza to and from court as she'll be living with him. For those reasons, I believe that being released to pretrial services is appropriate or a nominal bond.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mendoza, for the felony matter, I'm going to release you to the third-party custody pretrial services. Stay with your dad or somewhere else safe like that, okay? No, do not drive without a valid driver's license. No drugs, no alcohol. Monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial, no firearms. Do not go to the incident location. Do not leave Pima County without further order of the court. Your next court date for the felony matter, Ms. Mendoza, is a preliminary hearing on March 24th at 1:30 p.m. That date may or may not go, so just keep in contact with your attorney. Because if you fail to appear for that court date or any future court dates, a warrant can issue for your arrest. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And then for your city court matter, I am going to release you on your own promise to appear for your next court date in Tucson City Court, which is April 2nd at 9 a.m. in front of Judge Hale. No contact with the alleged victim of the theft shoplifting. Don't go to the incident location. And again, if you fail to appear for any court dates, warrant you for your arrest. You understand all that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, make sure you show up to court. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Kyle Austin Nuru.
Morning, sir. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on some felony charges, some new ones for fraudulent schemes and artifices, taking the identity of another, also domestic violence stalking. Those are new charges. And then we have post indictment from Pima County Superior Court for possession of a deadly weapon by primitive possessor, possession of dangerous drugs, drug paraphernalia, disorderly conduct with a weapon. Also post indictment from Pima County Superior Court for dangerous drugs, paraphernalia. And then we also have a Pima County Justice Court case, failure to appear misdemeanor for shoplifting. So we'll take one of the felonies first, and then we'll do the misdemeanors. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Defender's Office to represent you, and you have a counsel seated next to you for purposes of today. Looks like the state is recommending $15,000. Oh, let's see, there's two separate items.
There's 4, Your Honor. Your Honor, if we want to start with the most serious one, it might make it easy.
Okay, would that be the stalking?
Yes, Your Honor. This is the stalking one. He's a 4 out of 5. He's a possibly NVCS. Yes. At the time, pretrial hadn't updated their website. This person apparently and allegedly texted a former intimate partner stating that he basically threatened to shoot her and said something to the effect of, "Don't make me have to come over there." Then he sent another text, and she then heard the defendant outside of her home and knocking on the bedroom window. And the defendant also has reasons to believe that they bagged her car. For that, the state is asking for $75,000 because he's actively terrorizing this innocent victim with threats of firearm and stalking and coming to her where she sleeps. By the way, Your Honor, every bond amount I'm going to quote here will be consecutive. Next, we have the theft occurring on or about the 3rd of this past January. He was also caught doing so on February 2024 and January 1st, 2025. And then there looks to be another theft from September 11th of 24. For that, $15,000. Now, the next one. We have the warrants. Give just a moment on that, Your Honor. This gentleman did not make it easy to track everything that was pending. We have, there's an F4 for identity theft that came out of the theft. We have drug court, prohibited possessor out of Pima County Court. And Your Honor, at this point, the state is going to go ahead and modify its recommendation in the first case, that was $75,000, to no bond. And the latter will be $15,000, $15,000, and $25,000 consecutive.
All right, just to clarify, Mr. Poston, state is requesting no bond on the domestic violence stalking.
Yes, $25,000 on the case involving prohibited possessor and 15 on the other 2 cases.
All right, thank you. Ms. Palacios, do you want to be heard?
Can I have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor, if we could be heard.
Yes, of course.
Mr. Kyle does currently have housing, and it is apart from the alleged victim that he can return to. Also, for the failure to appears, it seems that a different address was used to send past notices than the address that he is currently living at. So there might have been some mistake in notice for some of those failure to appears. Also, I know he has quite a few priors, but a lot of these priors are narcotic drug use. There's no allegations of harm or injury happening in this case. He is also only 26 years old. Due to these facts, I think a bond of $1,000 is appropriate. If the court wants to have multiple bonds, I would ask that they run consecutively. And I don't think a no bond is appropriate in the Stockton case. Thank you.
Your Honor, the state would beg to differ on the issue of harm. He's absolutely terrified this innocent young woman with threats of coming to her house and shooting her through the wall. And he actually came to the house. The state has every reason to believe this woman is absolutely terrified for her own safety. And this person has clearly shown that he is not capable of following the law.
All right, thank you, counsel. All right, so Mr. Nuru, you have a lot going on right now. One of them is the alleged stalking, domestic violence. So the state's requesting a no bond hearing. What that means is when you're pending a felony matter and then you get arrested on a new felony matter, the state can request a no bond. There'd be an evidentiary hearing. An officer would have to come and provide testimony about the new case. So I am going to set a no bond hearing for that matter. There's going to be March 7th at 2:30 p.m. This is this Friday, and the state will provide. You'll get transported to that hearing. And the state will provide evidence regarding the new offense. For that case, also the preliminary hearing date is March 13th at 1:30 p.m. Oops. All right, for the other felony matter, that's new, the fraud schemes and ID theft, imposing a bond of $5,000, cash is secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment as directed. No contact with the alleged victim in the case. Do not go to the instant location, which is target. Same thing, the preliminary hearing on this one is March 13th at 1:30 p.m. For the post-indictment matter, which is just the dangerous drugs and paraphernalia, CR 2024-2856. Pose a bond of $500, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring and treatment. Next court date for that is going to be March 10th at 1:30. That's for an arraignment. The other post-indictment matter, which is CR 2025-0675, that's the one with the drugs as well as for the disorderly conduct and for the possessor. Impose a bond of $5,000, cash is secured, released to pretrial if posted. Again, no drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment, do not go to instant location, no contact with the alleged victims. That one also has an arraignment on March 10th at 1:30 p.m. And then finally, for the Pima County Justice Court case, that was actually for a failure to appear back in June of, well, the offense is dated June of 2024. It looks like the judge that issued the bond, $100. So I'm going to honor that bond request of $100. I'm going to appoint counsel for you on the Justice Court case, sir. That's going to be Anna Dennis. And you're actually going to be seen tomorrow via video for your criminal arraignment for the Justice Court case. And Ms. Dennis should be there. That's March 4th tomorrow at 1 p.m. All right, if you're in custody, you'll be seen on all of these. If you're post bond or released before then, it's up to you to make sure you show up to court and keep in contact with all your attorneys. If you don't show up, warrant can issue for your arrest, as you can see. You understand all that, sir?
Yeah.
Your excuse for today. Thank you.
Sorry, Your Honor, was the public defender appointed for his felony case?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, can I get your name, please?
You are Tyler?
The middle name, Nicole?
Yeah.
Morning, ma'am. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today. Thank you. I'm seeing you today on a charge of possession of narcotic drugs and possession of drug paraphernalia, a charge of felony matters, and then we also have Tucson City Court to appear for crime trespass, assault, crime damage, another assault. We'll talk about the felonies first, and then we'll deal with your Tucson City Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you have counsel seated next to you for purposes of today. We're going to be setting some release conditions for you, ma'am. I reviewed the pretrial services report, the interim complaint. The state, Mr. Poston, are you recommending no bond on the narcotics charge?
One moment, Your Honor. I'll re-review the substance of a previous case and may amend my recommendation. One moment, please. Just a moment. Yes, Your Honor, we are recommending no bond.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Poston?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Palacios?
Again, Your Honor, I'm gonna argue that I think no bond is inappropriate in this case. Ms. Tyler is only 24 years old. She does have a Tucson address that she can return to. This was a drug offense. It was a nonviolent offense. I know there are some failure to appear, so I think a nominal bond in this case is appropriate.
All right, so Ms. Tyler, the state is asking for a no bond hearing. What that means is someone is pending a felony matter and then they get arrested on a new felony matter. Arizona Constitution says that person can be held without bond, so they can't get out. But they have to prove, obviously, that that happened. So I'm going to set a no bond hearing. And that's going to be Friday, March 7th at 2:30 p.m. at the Pima County Superior Court. At that point, the state will either present witness testimony to say that you should be held without bond, or they're going to recommend bond at that point. All right, so that's March 7th at 2:30 p.m. And then the next date after that will be a preliminary hearing on March 13th at 1:30 p.m. All right, if you're still, well, you're going to be in custody at least for this Friday. So, all right, and then for your Tucson City Court case, ma'am, for that one, I am going to release you on your own recognizance, but because you're being held in custody for the felony matter, I'm going to appoint the Tucson City Public Defender's Office for you. No contact with any victim once you're released, and no contact with the victim's residence or going to the incident location. All right, for that one, your next court date is going to be April 18th at 9 a.m. If you're still in custody by then, you'll be seen by video. If not, it'll be up to you to make sure you show up to court in Tucson City Court. If you fail to appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all that, ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay, you're excused for today. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Do I have to do anything at the top or? Okay. Oh, okay. Is this Mr. Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mr. Valenzuela, you're going to be continued to this this evening, okay? You're going to see the judge this evening because pretrial didn't get to do a full workup on you. They want to make sure they have accurate information to show to the judge who's going to cover this afternoon or this evening, okay? So you'll see a judge this evening. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Davis, are you back, sir?
I am.
Yes, thank you.
We have the Spanish speaking client now.
And thank you for your consideration and flexibility, Your Honor,
Oh, of course, no problem.
and to the staff.
Good morning, ma'am. Can I get your name, please?
Buenos días, señora. ¿Podría darme su nombre, por favor?
Ana Cristina Cruz Moreno.
Ana Cristina Cruz Moreno.
Ms. Cruz Moreno, this is the time set for your initial appearance.
Señorita Cruz Moreno, esta es la audiencia programada para su comparecencia inicial.
I'm seeing you on misdemeanor charges of domestic violence, criminal damage,
Está ante mí para acusaciones de delitos menores por violencia doméstica y daños criminales,
and also,
fiada ajena,
and also domestic violence assault.
y también por acusaciones de agresión resultando de violencia doméstica.
These are out of Pima County Justice Court.
Estos casos originan del Juzgado de Paz del Condado Pima.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Tiene usted el derecho a guardar silencio. Cualquier cosa que diga podrá ser usada en contra suya.
You have the right to hire your own attorney.
Yo, licenciado o licenciada,
In certain instances, if you cannot afford one, one may be appointed for you.
en ciertos casos, si no tiene manera de contratar su propio abogado, se le designa un abogado de oficio.
Right, so in this case, your husband, Alfredo Coronado, is okay with you returning home.
En este caso, su esposo, Alfredo Coronado, está de acuerdo que usted regrese a casa
And he would like continued contact with you.
y pide que se le permita contacto continuo con usted.
So I'm going to release you on your promise to appear for your next court date.
Entonces, le voy a permitir ser liberada bajo promesa de presentarse a las siguientes audiencias.
Conditions include no drugs, no alcohol,
Las condiciones que se encontrarán será nada de droga ni de licor,
do not commit any acts of domestic violence,
no cometer actos adicionales de violencia doméstica.
Your next court date, ma'am, is going to be March 13th at 10:30 a.m.
Pues la comparecencia en su caso será el 7 de marzo a las 10:30 por la mañana.
That's at the Pima County Justice Court.
Eso se llevará a cabo en el Juzgado de Paz del Condado Pima.
You'll get paperwork on the date, time, and location.
Ya recibirá documentación que le indican el día, la hora y el sitio donde se llevará a cabo.
You're ordered to appear for that court date as well as any future court dates.
Se ordena presentarse a esa audiencia como cualquier otra comparecencia futura.
If you fail to appear for court, a warrant can issue for your arrest.
De no ser así, se puede obtener detención.
Do you understand all that, ma'am?
¿Entiende todo lo que le he dicho, señora?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cruz Moreno. You're excused for today.
Señora Cruz Moreno, es todo por hoy. Gracias. Puede retirarse.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Yes,
And Your Honor, may the interpreter be excused?
yes, thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
Yep. ¿Tengo cita una hoja nueva? ¿O me va a llegar el correo? Paperwork. Appointments and
I believe that's all at the jail. Is that right?
It's all, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.